Last night, the big bats of the Blue Jays powered their way to victory in Game 1 of the series. Today, one of the hottest pitchers in baseball takes the hill as the smiling assassin, Erasmo Ramirez, will look to tame Toronto. It's the Rays and the Jays on Sun Sports next. On a beautiful Saturday afternoon from the Rogers Center, north of the border in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, we welcome you to the middle game of a three-game series between the Tampa Bay Rays and the Toronto Blue Jays. I'm Todd Callis, filling in for Dwayne Stats alongside Brian Anderson. And BA, you've got one of the hottest pitchers in the game of baseball going on the mound for the Rays today, and he better be hot today because he's going against a very formidable group.
When you think about this Blue Jay offense, a couple thoughts come to mind. Explosive. They're opportunistic. They're clutch. They're relentless. They just continue to come at you. The Rays saw that last night. You know, Jake Odorizzi had held them down for a time, and then all of a sudden in the fifth inning, they exploded. That stat, to me, boggles the mind. In this day and age where pitching kind of rules the day, look what this Blue Jay offense has done. 36 times they've scored at least 4 runs in an inning. That's what you talk about when you're being explosive. Even with 2 outs, these guys have knocked in 155 runs with 2 outs. So you cannot go to rest on these guys. You have to finish innings. You have to pitch tough and finish the job because they can turn it on in a heartbeat. And that's going to be up to Erasmo Ramirez today. And I'll tell you something. Look at his last 11 starts. This goes back to the middle of May. He gets plugged back into the rotation. He's 8-2. The ERA stellar, and he himself said, listen, I'm a more confident guy right now. It's about attacking the strike zone and then sweeping the slider and expanding below the zone with the changeup. Right now, he's loving what he's doing right now, and he's going to continue that here this afternoon, going up against his hot offense, and hopefully he can pull out another victory for the Rays.
You see what he did in his last start against the Astros prior to the All-Star break. Nobody in that stretch that you saw 8-2 has as many wins or more wins than Erasmo Ramirez in Major League Baseball. We are ready on a Saturday in 4 minutes and 18 seconds for the first pitch. It'll be the knuckleballer on the mound for Toronto. R.A. Dickey will have starting lineups when we come back. The roof is open on this Saturday from the Rogers Center in Toronto. Both teams come in with a .500 record, identical marks of 46 and 46. The Blue Jays winning last night's contest 6-2 to kick off this three-game weekend series. Rays and the Jays still tied for second, 4.5 games behind the New York Yankees, a half a game ahead of Baltimore, who's in fourth place in the AL East. Here are your lineups today, brought to you by your Southern Ford dealers. For the Tampa Bay Rays, that man, John Jaso, 10 for 26 since coming back from the DL, leads things off. Joey Butler gets a start in left field against the knuckleballer R.A. Dickey. Evan Longoria, a lot of success against Toronto, hits third. James Loney in the cleanup spot. Logan Forsythe reached base 3 times in last night's game. Brandon Geyer gets the start in right. Kevin Kiermaier patrols center field. Tim Beckham will be the shortstop today, getting his first start since coming back from AAA Durham. And Kurt Casale will be behind the plate for Erasmo Ramirez.
And anytime R.A. Dickey's going to take the mound, and we kind of talked about this in the pregame show, knuckleballer and these hitters for the Rays, they want to see the ball up in the zone. You want that pitch, it's fluttering, it's difficult to catch, let alone hit. So you want that ball up close to the eyes, and then you take a good pass and hope for solid contact. And I'll tell you what, the Rays have done a pretty good job in attacking R.A. Dickey. 3 starts against him this year. They've tuned him up 3 times, 0-3 with an ERA of over 6. And about the only thing that you can talk about pitch-wise with R.A. Dickey, you're going to see the knuckleball a ton. But when he falls behind in the count, especially to right-handed hitters, you'll see more of the fastball. You got to be ready for that pitch, too.
R.A. Dickey taking the mound has not had a lot of success, as you said, against the Rays. Rays have been able to get base runners, and when you get base runners, it becomes dangerous with balls potentially going to the backstop.
Well, that's it. Be aggressive. Be an aggressive secondarily. Not crazy, just aggressive. You see the season numbers on R.A. Dickey. The other thing they've done against him is he doesn't give up any stolen bases. His career high was 9. That was back in 2010. He's given up 6 so far this year in 8 attempts. The Rays have been able to steal 3 of the 6 bases. So when they get the base runners, it's the pass balls, it's the wild pitches, and also the occasional stolen base. Let's take a look at the Blue Jay defense and see how it's going to line up here this afternoon. Brought to you by BMW. In the outfield, left to right, we have Carrera, Pilar, and Bautista. Across that infield, third to first, Donaldson, Reyes, Travis, and Smoke, with Russell Martin back behind the plate.
Since becoming the Rays in 2008, John Gibbons' Toronto Blue Jays have struggled against Tampa Bay. The Rays are 87 and 52 against Toronto since 2008. And the Blue Jays have not won back-to-back series against Tampa Bay since all the way back to the Devil Ray days in 2007. The Jays have a chance by winning this series to accomplish that. The Rays will have Erasmo Ramirez on the mound, as you see, 4.5 games behind the New York Yankees. Yankees play the Seattle Mariners in a contest starting just a couple of minutes ago at Yankee Stadium. So R.A. Dickey has warmed up. We are ready to go. John Jaso will be the first batter of the day for the Rays, as Tampa Bay tries to get back above 500 after dropping last night's game to kick off what is called the second half of the season. But we are now 92 games in with a 46 and 46 mark. Beautiful sun-filled afternoon here at the stadium, Rogers Center in Toronto. As R.A. Dickey will throw the first pitch of the day, presented by Pinch-A-Penny. And at 1:09 in the afternoon in Toronto, the first pitch is a knuckleball for ball 1. Jaso 1 for 4 last night, as Drew Hutchison and the Toronto Blue Jays defeated the Rays. And Dickey behind early, 2-0 to Jaso. Called strike from Chris Guccione, also a difficult task for the home plate umpire on a day when the knuckleballer is out.
You've got to stick with the pitch. You've got to really lock in and follow that thing all the way in.
On the ground, Smoke has the play, runs to the bag himself, and we're underway with a ground out to the first baseman.
I mean, really, when you face a knuckleball pitcher, and this is exactly what we talked about again back in the pregame show, you're trying to break this guy down, and what you do, just imagine taking a broomstick, something like that out to an open field and taking swing at butterflies. Really, that's what it's like. Try to square up a butterfly. Not easy.
If R.A. Dickey had his druthers as he misses high to Joey Butler, the roof would be closed. He feels like in a controlled environment, the knuckleball works even better, which sounds counterintuitive. Sometimes you would think, well, with more wind, the knuckleball.
Yeah.
But he feels like he can control it better, and he feels like he gets the same movement. But there's a lot of guys playing defense behind him that are happy the roof's open because the ball tends to fly on days like today.
You're absolutely right about that, and that pitch can be so unpredictable that you want to eliminate as many variables as you can, and that's why R.A. Dickey does prefer that roof closed. That's just one more variable he doesn't have to worry about because the ball is dancing all over the joint.
Joey Butler getting a start today. The Rays have faced a lot of right-handed pitching lately, so Butler hasn't had a whole lot of at-bats. He does get a start today because really against a knuckleballer, righty, lefty doesn't matter.
No, and just again, see that ball up and turn it loose is what you want to do right there. And that's another thing. R.A. Dickey, if he's able to float that ball into the zone early in the count and get ahead, he's got a couple of different grips at the way that he releases the ball to try to get it to kind of dance a certain way and have the ball dance out of the zone. And he will also change speeds with that pitch.
Yeah, you can watch today on the miles per hour. He does change it. Sometimes he varies for, the 5 to 7 mile an hour range, and then he'll throw that little eephus knuckleball up there every once in a while that comes in about 68, 67.
And that's so far below hitting speed for these hitters, and it's dancing.
Sometimes you can drop it into the 65 mile an hour range too. That's a good take right there by Joey Butler.
Yeah, that hard knuckleball, and that's the one. He tries to get that dancing away, start it away, dance it away.
Hanging in there is the Rays left fielder. Just underway on a Saturday in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. The Rays playing a day game this afternoon. They'll have a day game tomorrow to wrap up this series. 8-pitch at bat thus far for Butler. Here's pitch number 9. That one will stay in play. High sky. Does anybody see it? Batista comes all the way in and makes a great catch. Travis and Smoke struggled, and Batista makes a great sliding catch for the second half.
Everybody flowing to the baseball. Nobody assuming the other guy's going to catch it. You're right. Justin Smoke and Devin Travis. Look at the problems they're having. Nobody has a clue, and look at Bautista swooping in at the last moment. The sliding, sprawling, extra base saving catch.
So all the sunglasses in play today for the defense for both teams. Batista, as you can see, wearing the shades. Travis looked at Smoke, and he realized you don't have any chance better than I do. That's a tough feeling.
Oh, that's when you knew it was going bad.
On the ground, Reyes to his left and through his legs. Longoria will live with 2 outs.
And this has been an issue. That's error number 11 for Jose Reyes. He's had him in big spots, game-saving spots where he's had errors that have turned the tide in a ball game. This is pretty routine right here, and just eats him up. And with his range being diminished by any defensive metric that you go by this year, and on top of that, all the errors that he's made, you wonder how much now is becoming mental.
Had some costly errors prior to the All-Star break on that last road trip for Toronto, and now he makes an error here in the first inning, so James Loney will get a first inning at bat. Loney takes one away, 1-0.
Well, and significant because you can remember Loney at Tropicana Field getting a knuckleball up and out over the plate and smoking that thing for a home run down the right field line. So you're looking to do the same thing right here with an extra at bat.
Ball hit pretty well to left, but Carrera is back and makes the play for the final out of the inning. So the error doesn't hurt R.A. Dickey or the Blue Jays. Rays fail to score in the top half. Erasmo Ramirez. Here is how they line things up, presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Switch hitting shortstop Jose Reyes leads things off. Josh Donaldson bats second. Jose Batista is the number 3 hitter. Edwin Encarnacion cleans up. Justin Smoke, switch hitting first baseman, bats fifth. Russell Martin, Kevin Pillar, Ezekiel Carrera, and Devin Travis round out your Blue Jays lineup.
Well, one of the hottest pitchers in all of baseball taking the mound this afternoon for the Tampa Bay Rays. Erasmo Ramirez got that ERA now down to 3.63. We talked about his last 11 starts, but how about if you just go back, really his last five starts, 3-1 with an ERA of 1.01.
And he starts Jose Reyes out with a fastball that misses away, 1-0. So Reyes will lead things off against Erasmo Ramirez, who will try and wipe out the memories of his last start here when he was really struggling the first 2 starts of his season.
Yeah, that was back on the 15th of April. Didn't get out of the 4th inning. 9 runs, 8 of them were earned. He was roughed up by this offense, but this version of Erasmo Ramirez, completely different pitcher than that one.
See Reyes' numbers on the year, better left-handed this season with a 3.05 average as a left-handed hitter. And Ramirez behind in the count, 3-1.
Well, these are the counts. We talked about it last night. It came back to bite Jake Odorizzi, but these are the counts you cannot have against this offense. It's too powerful. It's too explosive. You've got to pitch out in front.
In the air to right field, Geyer comes over to the line and in a bit and makes the play for the first out.
Here's the Rays defense, brought to you by BMW. In the outfield, left to right, Butler, Kiermaier, and Brandon Geyer across that infield, third to first. Longoria, Tim Beckham's going to get the start at shortstop. Forsythe and Loney with Kurt Casale getting the start behind the plate.
Now Ramirez will have to deal with Josh Donaldson, who had a big home run in last night's game. Paints a fastball at the knees for strike 1. Donaldson with his 22nd home run, now tied for 4th in the league in that department. Long throw for Longoria, and it's wide and gets by James Loney. Donaldson to second, taking a peek. He will stay there. Loney trying to stay on the bag, and the throw got away from him.
Yeah, that was odd. James Loney has such a good feel around first base, and obviously from our angle you can't tell if the ball was kind of cutting on him a little bit, but Longoria made a nice play on the backhand. The throw maybe had some cutting action to it, because you're going to see Loney try to follow it down and ends up laying down. Just could not get to it. I think you're right, Todd. I think he's reaching and keeping that foot on the bag, trying to catch it while he's still in contact, and that ball just gets away from him. And with him being down, Brandon Geyer backing it up, but too late for Donaldson to be held to first base.
Pitches inside, ball 1. We talk about a pitcher throwing a cutter from 60 feet 6 inches. That's a much longer throw. If Longoria's throwing a cutter, that potentially had a lot of break on it before it got to Loney.
There's the throw from behind third base over to first base, and until you stand out on a field and take a look at it, that is a long throw. That's why the accuracy of Evan Longoria is unparalleled. He's so good with his throws. Very rarely will you see that mistake made.
So now it'll be Jose Batista at the dish with Josh Donaldson on second, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. Big strikeout there for Erasmo Ramirez.
That's when you know a pitcher is pitching with a ton of confidence. Kurt Casale calls for a heater, middle of the plate up, and it's not 97. And Erasmo's like, I trust the scouting report. If I get it there, good things will happen. That ball was right down the middle, but it still was able to tie up Bautista. That's scouting. That's game prep.
The Rays have done a nice job against Batista and this guy, Edwin Encarnacion, this season. As Encarnacion fouls one into the crowd, nothing in one.
You know, that would be a pitch that you would say to yourself, wait a minute, you want me to throw Bautista a heater middle, slightly elevated? Really? You want me on the team? Or are you trying to get me demoted? That's what you're thinking. But this is where you've got to trust the game prep. And like you said, the Rays pitchers' numbers against these two hitters have proven it out all season long.
They're hitting less than 100 this year combined. There's a strike, and Ramirez ahead of Encarnacion, 0-2. Erasmo has been nothing short of spectacular since those first couple of starts.
Well, 93 miles an hour. That one had a little movement, more the backdoor two-seamer.
Now he's got him guessing.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, and that's the whole point. Get into a hitter's mind. I mean, and that's what happens when you pitch aggressively and you pitch ahead. You know, now all of a sudden he's like, okay, I got to protect against anything. Maybe that swing's not quite as aggressive. Maybe not with this guy, but still.
Doesn't chase there. It's 1-2. Just underway from Rogers Center in Toronto. Both teams have committed an error in this first inning. Jose Reyes for the Blue Jays on a ground ball through his legs, and Evan Longoria in this half inning on a wide throw to first. R.A. Dickey pitched around the error. Now Erasmo Ramirez trying to do the same, one pitch away from getting out of the first. High pop-up. Shallow center. Forsythe out. Kiermaier calls him off, and Kevin Kiermaier puts it away for the final out of the inning. So we head to the second, scoreless between Toronto and Tampa Bay. Now for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Here's what you do. Use the hashtag SSDataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Hashtag SSDataStrongFan. Logan Forsythe leading things off for the Rays. Judging by the way he went after that high pop-up to end the inning, and where Travis and Smoke went after that pop up in the top of the first, it could be a tough day for infielders or outfielders for that matter early on in the sky here in Toronto.
Well, that's where you get the glasses involved. I mean, really, you've got to use the glasses, the glove, whatever it takes, and you can't lose sight of the ball. A tough day, no question about it. Infielders are going to have a little bit rougher time because the angle. You know, you're going back, it's kind of over your shoulder a lot of the time, and we've seen that already. Outfielders coming in are going to be the guys that have to save the day.
Travis has the eye black and the sunglasses. Didn't help him in the top of the first. Now the count's 1-2.
But you know what? Him stumbling out there, losing sight of the ball, looking at Justin Smoke, you know, can't find it. He looked cool doing it, though. Sometimes that's all that's important.
Better to look good than to play well.
Well, sometimes. It's a good look.
It worked out because Batista saved the day with a nice sliding catch. flip down shades.
Old school.
Old school shades. Up the middle, off of R.A. Dickey, and Travis can't make the play. Logan Forsythe will live on the base hit. He's been on base 4 out of 5 times now in this series.
Well, right back up the middle. R.A. Dickey, the target. It goes low off the glove and deflects away from Travis.
Gold Glove winner a couple of years ago, the knuckleballer R.A. Dickey. Always intriguing how a pitcher wins a Gold Glove. It's kind of a more of a guess than anything. Jeremy Hellickson shared a Gold Glove a few years ago with the Rays.
Well, that's even more outlandish. So it's hard enough to pick a guy that, you know, it's going to win the Gold Glove as a pitcher. But then you're like, you know what, we can't even really decide between these two. So they're going to share it.
Jeremy was as shocked as anybody when he got the call in the offseason that he was co-winner of Gold Glove as a pitcher that year. Here's a strike to Brandon Guyer. Nothing in one.
Well, it's something that you work on in spring training ad nauseum, fielding your position. Anything to help yourself as a pitcher. You know, being able to hold runners, a good pickoff move, quick feet, field your position. All of those things will get you an out here and out there, and that could be the difference in a ball game.
R.A. Dickey facing the Rays for the 4th time. Tampa Bay has not defeated many pitchers 4 times in a season. They're trying to accomplish that against R.A. Dickey today. It's happened 4 other times in Rays history. 2 of them were Blue Jays, Henderson Alvarez and Roy Halladay. Up and in to Guyer. And then he actually threw him an 0-2 fastball, looked like.
Yeah, who knows? You guess sometimes. That fastball is around, you know, not 80. You'll see sometimes 82, 83. We've seen some knuckleballs up there, 79, 80.
Well, if R.A. Dickey's going to hit a batter today, and he does have a few hit batsmen, 8 on the season, he might hit one of these 2 guys, the guy on base, Forsythe, or Brandon Guyer at the plate.
The 2 right-handed hitters in the Rays lineup that do not concede ground at all. Up on top of the plate, and they're not afraid to get hit by a pitch. They understand where they stand, that it's going to lend itself to getting hit, but they even have a technique for it, and I love it. It's like, you know, they'll turn away from the pitch to give the appearance they're trying to get out of the way, but it's a turn and flare. You know, they either flare the knee or flare the elbow, but by turning away, the impression is given, oh, he's trying to get out of the way, when really they're like, listen, it's 0-2, I'm going to take my base.
Staying alive at the plate is Guyer. Rays have done a nice job early on keeping at bats alive. Joey Butler in the 1st inning, and Logan Forsythe last batter, now Brandon Guyer. There you see only Alex Gordon has been hit by more pitches. Gordon on the DL for the Kansas City Royals. Forsythe was hit by a pitch last night by Drew Hutchison. Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 1 for R.A. Dickey.
We've talked a lot about the reason for the Rays' success against Dickey, and one thing we haven't talked about is they've stayed away from this. They've not struck out that much against R.A. Dickey. You know, coming into this start, 3 starts against him this year, they've struck out just 8 times. That's now the 9th time. So, you know, they see the ball up in the zone. They've been able to put the ball in play. They've run on him a little bit. They've just not conceded with the big strikeout numbers, and that's helped.
Called strike to Kevin Kiermaier. When R.A. Dickey won the Cy Young Award for the Mets in 2012, he struck out basically 1 batter an inning, 230 strikeouts in 233 innings. Since then, the strikeouts per inning have kind of diminished, and this year I was only strikeout number 71, and he's pitched 115 plus innings.
And it's hard to pinpoint what to contribute. I mean, he's the same exact pitcher.
Right.
You know, the ball's dancing around.
He said he threw more fastballs in the National League primarily because he dealt with the number 8 hitter and then the pitcher.
Yeah.
And, you know, pitchers will add a little bit of total to your strikeouts, but not to that extent where he was basically 1 an inning, and now that's reduced significantly. Kiermaier struggled throughout his career against R.A. Dickey. The runner on the move, and the throw by Martin in plenty of time. Forsythe is thrown out.
Well, that's the Rays trying to push the envelope. The running game difficult against R.A. Dickey. That has not held the Rays back from trying it. But right there, Russell Martin, swing and a miss. The ball's down. He digs it out, and look at the throw. I mean, right there, plenty of time. And there's the tag.
You would think you would be able to steal on Dickey, but he's so quick to the plate.
That's it. I mean, that's it. But you know, quick to the plate. Got a ball that's fluttering. Sometimes it gives the catcher, a tough chance. The ball's, moving around. It's down. It's up and away. But listen, it's all about getting the ball out of your hand, getting to the catcher as quickly as possible. And like I said, that was a nice dig there by Russell Martin. That ball's down. He waits on it, gets it, comes up. Strong, accurate throw.
Dickey was heading towards the dugout, but Chris Guccione says that's a little low. Kiermaier started his career against R.A. Dickey and it 1 for 13, but he does have 2 hits in his last 3 at-bats. Slow grounder. Travis is going to have to hurry. He does in time to get the speedy Kiermaier for the final out of the inning. So leadoff base runners, the Rays trying to steal. We head to the bottom of the second, no score. Toyota, let's go places. By Morgan Auto Group. Make it Morgan. We make it happen. Scoreless bottom half of the second inning in Toronto. Beautiful afternoon to be on the lake, not far from the stadium here. As Justin Smoke will lead things off against Erasmo Ramirez here in the bottom half of the second inning. Swing and a miss from Smoke, 0-1. We mentioned Josh Donaldson had a big 2-run home run to break the tie. Justin Smoke broke the game open with a 3-run shot opposite field last night against Jake Odorizzi to make the game 6-1, a game that Toronto won 6-2. There's a called strike, and Erasmo Ramirez ahead 0-2.
Erasmo Ramirez, a little early curveball here against the Blue Jays. So often you think about him with the fastball, sink it a little bit, slider, changeup. 2 in a row. How about that? The curveball with good depth.
2 in a row, and picks up his second strikeout of the game gets Justin Smoak to start the second.
Execution. You know, the pitch previous was a curveball. He kept it in the zone, and then now he's able to 0-2 expand the zone and take it below. So Erasmo Ramirez, a great job of executing those two curveballs.
When you look at the pitch breakdown for Ramirez from this year to last year, still has the same 5 pitches: 4-seam, 2-seam, fastballs, changeup, which he employs a lot, curveball, slider. Last year, a majority of his pitches were 2-seamers. 40% of his pitches, 2-seamers. This year, that number's down to 11.5%. This year, the 4-seamer up to 44%. Only used it 12% last year with Mariners.
And you know what that speaks to me? Aggressive, confident, 4-seam aggressive. He said, I want to attack the zone. Okay, you know, when you throw that many 2-seamers, unless you're a sinker ball specialist type of guy, then you're almost pitching away from contact. Like, ooh, I'm going to entice you off the. Now he's attacking the zone with the 4-seamer, getting the strikes, and then he'll throw the occasional 2-seamer to see if he'll chase it off the plate. Or maybe he'll try to backdoor the 2-seamer and you know, run it, you know, start it off the plate away to a righty and take it back onto the outside corner. But the switch in the usage of the fastball, predominantly 4-seamer this year, speaks to me of an aggressive, confident pitcher, and that's exactly what we're seeing out there right now.
And maybe in the past, as he's ahead of Russell Martin, a little check swing, tough play for Ramirez. He gets there and makes the play nicely.
And that was a really nice play. That was an athletic play because Erasmo Ramirez was not stepping towards his target. But what he did was he squared his hips up and almost was like throwing a dart. That was a nice adjustment made by Ramirez. So many times you see pitchers struggling to throw to bases when the mechanics aren't perfect. But right there, look at him square up, keep his head on the target. That's outstanding. Great job by Erasmo.
So he's now retired 4 in a row. The only runner that has reached was on an error on a ground ball in the first inning. So last year, as he throws a strike to Pilar, we might say that Ramirez was pitching a little more away from contact. And this year, with his confidence level, he is living in the zone a lot more.
You know, it's like he pitched here the first time.
Right.
In mid-April, he was pitching like he was pitching last year, just kind of trying to entice guys, not being very aggressive, very, you know, passive in what he's trying to do, and it did not go well for him.
On the ground, looks like a 1-2-3 inning for Ramirez, and it is as Forsythe makes the play to retire Pilar. So nicely done by Erasmo in the second. We head to the third, scoreless. On Sun Sports is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. By Morgan Auto Group. Make it Morgan. We make it happen. A lot of sporting activities to choose from this weekend in Toronto, Canada. much nicer day today. Yesterday was mostly overcast with a light mist and rain. Today, beautiful sun-filled skies, and R.A. Dickey on the mound for the Blue Jays. He'll face Tim Beckham here to lead things off for the Rays in the third inning. See what Beckham's numbers are on the season. Tim getting his first start since coming back to the Rays. Takes a knuckleball inside for ball one.
And there may be a few more of those coming his way. You know, Kevin Cash has said while Asdrubal Cabrera is out, it will be a platoon based on matchups with Beckham and Elmore mostly out at shortstop. So opportunity knocks once again for Tim Beckham.
Beckham played 10 games for the Durham Bulls, coming off the disabled list. And now he's ahead of the count 3-0. Four-pitch walk, Tim Beckham, a leadoff base runner for the Rays.
Well, that's 2 innings in a row now, and you hope this happening at the bottom of the order, and you can start to get something going here against R.A. Dickey. Won't be too long before guys are getting their second look at him. Try to capitalize.
For Kurt Casale, this will be his first look at the knuckleballer. He's never faced R.A. Dickey. That's inside, and Dickey struggling with location to start this inning. Hit hard but foul past Charlie Montoyo in the third base coaching box. It's 1-1. Sally getting the start this afternoon. Day game after a night game. Russell Martin going back-to-back for the Blue Jays. A lot of that is predicated on the fact that they like Martin catching R.A. Dickey. Inside, almost hits Casale. It's 2-1.
Well, these are every once in a while the glitches that you see with R.A. Dickey, where he will lose command for a hitter or two, get into some bad counts. Not that it always matters because that ball's still difficult to hit, but this is when you're more likely to see the fastball.
Close play at first as Beckham gets back.
R.A. Dickey does have a couple of pickoffs on the season, can be quick with the feet. Fire alarm's going off.
Is that the sound for the roof's about to close? Pickoff, and he is out. Beckham is out at first. Tim wants Kevin Cash to video review this one, but initial call by Ben May at first base is that Beckham is out.
Well, it looked like Rocco Baldelli wanted the same thing after he's right over there like an umpire. R.A. Dickey, we already said he's got a couple of pickoffs. That was a quick, Justin Smoke has an advantage here being a lefty. Lets that ball travel, then swipes the tag. Well, that is really, really close.
Is it enough to overturn?
That's, you know what?
I don't know.
Not from those two looks. Not from those two looks.
I don't know based on that view, although we are going to get a review, it looks like. Very close. At least in those first two looks, we haven't seen anything definitive. We may see something.
Now, this is where you start to, unless we get a better look than what we've already seen, you start to lean towards call on the field.
Stands.
Yeah, you start thinking down those lines, but we'll see.
Beckham had a pretty big lead. His lead foot was almost on the turf.
Running game difficult against Dickey, and he's got quick feet, good feed to Smoke. Smoke not being a right-hander, right-handed first baseman has to catch that, and kind of sweep that tag across his body with a lefty. There you go. How about that? Quick.
Safe.
Yeah. And it didn't take him very long, so they must have had a look where it showed for sure, obviously, that Tim Beckham got back in there. Let's take a look at this one here. Hand reaching, you go back towards the outer edge.
He looks safe.
I wouldn't be
but
as
I don't know
convinced. Yeah, I wouldn't be as convinced as whoever overturned that quickly.
Yes.
But listen, here's the thing.
Yes.
You know, you're making a call there, and you can slow it down, but you've got the hand reaching, the glove. You know, it's still subjective. It's not always cut and dry. But for whoever saw that, that was an easy overturn.
Only 47 seconds got things moving today. And now we've got a balk. So R.A. Dickey thought he had Tim Beckham picked off. Now Jeff Nelson, the crew chief, who's at third base today, calls a balk on him. So that's a no pitch, and a little frustration for John Gibbons and R.A. Dickey right now. Was it just that little?
I think it was no pause. I think
little...
the same thing that got Jake Odorizzi last night. Did not come set, fully set, and then deliver the ball to the plate. Kind of was all in one motion.
And had that one little drop down with the glove right before, like a semi-set, but it really didn't come to a full set.
I'm seeing an heir apparent to Balk and Bob Davidson.
Nelson.
Well, 2 for 2.
Here's the ground ball right side. Nice play by Smoke, but also a nice job by Casale.
This is what we talked last night about the keys for the Rays the second half. We talked about executing the fundamentals offensively, and that is it. And that's why you see these guys down there at the high five. Runner on second, nobody out. You want to get him in, but if you don't, you want to move him up. And that's exactly what Casale did, and now the Rays with a prime opportunity to plate the game's first run.
So Toronto will bring the infield in against John Jaso. And Jaso loops one beyond Donaldson, and that is just foul. Just foul, strike one. That was a case where infield back, he might catch it.
Yeah, infield back, he does catch that. But in this situation, not afforded that opportunity, and Jaso almost stole an extra base hit.
Rays scored first in last night's game. It came in the third inning when Grady Sizemore hit a home run, trying to score first in today's game in the third inning, and it's 1-1. Down low, 2 balls and a strike. And that one's inside, and now the count runs to 3-1. Tim Beckham with good speed on third. Joey Butler waits on deck. And Jaso fouls one, hooks one past Rocco Baldelli, and now the count's full. A walk, a balk, and a ground out has moved Tim Beckham to third. Now with one out, chance for John Jaso to bring home the game's first run. Hit hard to right field. Batista back all the way to the track. It's over his head and over the wall on one hop. A ground rule double for John Jaso, and the Rays take a 1-0 lead.
How about the turn of events here for the Rays? Tim Beckham gets picked off, called out, overturned, a balk. Casale moves him over, and then John Jaso puts together a nice extended at-bat and finishes it with that. That knuckleball stays up in the zone. That's where you want it. And John Jaso able to clear Bautista and one-hop that wall.
So Jaso now, with that average nearing 400, 11 for 28 for the Rays. Continues to hit well since coming back from the DL. That means the dreadlocks will stay even longer. Joey Butler, who had a good at bat his first time up at the plate, 1-0 count. Swings through it, it's 1-1. R.A. Dickey, one of the quicker workers in the league, and Joey Butler never leaves the batter's box, so this could be a interesting mano-a-mano.
Yeah, talk fast, because these guys, they get it going.
Stayed alive on the foul tip. It's 1-2.
Well, for R.A. Dickey, on his end, there's not a whole lot to think about. I mean, he's just going to go up there and let that knuckleball fly. Not a lot to choose from. Which version do I want? Do I want to change speeds on it? It's about all that he's thinking about. And for Joey Butler, he said, I don't want to think about anything. I've got a plan. I want to see the ball in my area, and I want to just stay in there and be ready to hit.
Pickoff attempt, and Jaso dives back. See, he wears that brace on the left wrist. That's the wrist he injured, sliding head first in his first stolen base attempt in the first at-bat of the season. Swings and a miss. Butler goes down. Second strikeout for R.A. Dickey.
Well, if it's possible, we just saw R.A. Dickey climb the ladder with the knuckleball. What do we say with the Rays? They want to see the ball up in the zone close to the eyes, and he's able to get that one over the swing.
So now with 2 outs, it's up to Evan Longoria. Longo, a couple of home runs in his career against R.A. Dickey, 10 for 38 lifetime. Takes a pitch inside, 1-0. Rays lead on the John Jaso RBI double, 1-0. Now Longoria down to the count, 1-2. Dickey coming in with a record of 3-10 and an ERA of 4.87. Drew Hutchison won his 9th game last night and has an ERA above 5. Swing and a miss. Dickey gets both Butler and Longoria swinging to end the inning. But Tampa Bay jumps on the board first. It's 1-0 Rays. With a 1-0 lead this afternoon, it's a Major League Baseball doubleheader starting when the NL West leading Dodgers take on the NL East leading Nationals at 4 o'clock. Then at 7, the Indians battle the Reds, only on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Ezequiel Carrera leads things off for Toronto. Erasmo Ramirez is not allowed a hit or a walk. Only base runner reached via error. Carrera came on for defense in last night's game, replacing Chris Colabello in left, and gets the start in left today. 1-1 the count. Bunt attempt goes foul. It's 1-2. Saw earlier Erasmo Ramirez made his last start a successful one against the Houston Astros on July 10th prior to the All-Star break. 8 days ago, so working with 7 days rest. Went 6 innings, allowed 1 run in that game. And then after the game, headed to Tampa International Airport and picked up his parents from Nicaragua and said nobody asked him for an autograph or recognized him. Just went out and won his 8th game in his last 11 starts.
He keeps pitching like this, and they're going to have to recognize him. I mean, this guy is doing quite the job for the Rays. And if anybody said that they saw this coming when the trade was made or late April, you're lying. That you just didn't see this coming.
On the ground, easy play for Lodi on 2 hops, and that's the first out here in the 3rd.
You could definitely have said, hey, there's room for improvement, but he's taken improvement to another level. You know, we talked about his numbers since he's come back into the rotation, but in his last 5, that ERA is barely over 1. And how about this? The wins leaders since May the 14th, Ramirez with Garrett Cole leading the way.
Today's Cold Hard Facts brought to you by Clean, Crisp Coors Light. And that's unbelievable. The best in the American League, tied with Garrett Cole for the major leagues. And again, sometimes wins don't tell the whole story. You have to be lucky to get some wins as a starting pitcher. Last night's starter is a great example.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of showed that between what Odorizzi had done and what Drew Hutchison had done. There's no question about it. But he's been so dominant, you can't help but get wins.
Right. I mean, you're looking at, as Jake Odorizzi suffered his worst outing of the season last night, 6 runs allowed in 4 1/3 innings. You look at Erasmo's numbers since April 19th. 2nd in ERA, Sonny Gray leading. 1st in opponent's batting average in Major League Baseball. 1st in hits and walks divided by innings pitched, which people call WHIP. This guy has been, numbers-wise, as good as anybody in the game since April 19th. It's hard to imagine.
And well, there you go. The first 2 games, the first 2 outings, look at the ERA. That's a lot of work to do to get 25-3 down to 3.63 coming into play today.
And the transition was after his start in Toronto. When you see first 2 games, that ended with his last start here, April 15th.
Yeah, and you know, so he goes to the bullpen, starts to pitch well out of the bullpen, makes some adjustment, becomes more aggressive, changes the scope and the nature of his pitch selection.
Tim Beckham's first shot of the game is a strike to first, and there's 2 away.
And you know, you would expect teams to be more aggressive against Erasmo Ramirez. Do you know that in the American League, he's got the lowest batting average against when he gets to 2 strikes? So when he gets to 2 strikes, he understands how to put guys away, whether it's with the strikeout or whether it's with poor contact, the change up below the zone, off the end of the bat, getting the ground ball. And all that success stems from the work that he's done early in the count.
There's the line drive, base hit. Brandon Guyer thought about going for it. Instead, he plays it on a bounce. And Reyes lives with the first hit of the day for the Toronto Blue Jays. Reyes thought it for a second about trying to go to second. This was a hard hit ball.
And Brandon Guyer thought for a second about going up there. He waits back nicely on the breaking ball, and Brandon Guyer's thinking, I'm going to catch this thing. Better not. And now you got to pull off and make sure that you get a good hop to handle. And you keep Reyes at first base, and that's okay.
You can see right there, even on a line drive, the ball doesn't pick up speed or maintain speed on this turf. It almost checks up a little bit. This is not an easy place to get a ball to the wall if you hit one through the infield on the ground. This turf is very slow, and it's gotten a little bit quicker as the season's gone along, but still nowhere close to the speed of the Tropicana Field turf. Josh Donaldson, the hitter. Rasmo ahead 0-1.
Do not go to sleep on this team with 2 outs. Still one of the best teams in all of baseball in all offensive categories, and even 2-out runs batted in. A 3rd in the American League, and they can put up a crooked number as quick as anybody.
They raised their lead in the American League in runs scored last night as they scored 6 runs and the Yankees scored 4. So now they have 492 runs scored to the Yankees 413. 79 runs more than the next closest team in baseball. Big swing and a high fastball, and Erasmo Ramirez has struck out Josh Donaldson to end the inning. We head to the 4th. The Rays lead it 1-0. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. By Checkers, mix and match our famous Big Buford and Big Chicken Deluxe. And by the Florida Department of Transportation. Rays lead 1-0 as we head to the 4th inning. Erasmo Ramirez against R.A. Dickey. James Loney will lead things off for Tampa Bay. Loney flied out to left field his first time up. Rays have 2 hits. They've also drawn a walk and reached on an error against Dickey as Loney swings through that first offering, 0-1. Big crowd this afternoon. I love the vantage point from center field of all the fans that can kind of stand up on those rail seats, or not seats, stand up on the railings and watch baseball and enjoy your favorite beverage on a lazy Saturday in the middle of July. 0-2 the count to Loney, stays alive. There they are. That is wall to wall. Not any spaces on those rails.
No, shoulder to shoulder all the way across. And, you know, this city is sensing that this team has an opportunity. It has a chance. This offense, it's fun to watch. And so they come out and support.
When you think about the drought, 1993, when they won the World Series, Joe Carter walks it off in Game 6. That's the last time. And there you see fans who are hoping it goes 92, 93 now this year. James Loney, high fly ball to right. Batista is there with the shades, and there's one away. And that's the last time they were in the playoffs.
I can attest to that time frame, Todd, because I made my Major League debut in this building in 1993.
Wow.
And that was a long time ago. It feels like a long time ago.
Last time they were in the playoffs, 22 years ago.
Yeah.
They went out in style with the World Series. But, I mean, you think about the Rays and all their success. Since they became the Rays, 10 years with the Devil Rays didn't do much, but since they became the Rays, and here's a Toronto franchise that hasn't made the playoffs since 5 years before the Devil Rays became in existence.
You know, you look at the plans of the team. It's like they've not been able to really stick with a plan. Are we going to go young and rebuild, or are we going to go veteran? They get caught in between all the time. You know, they go with the veteran team, and that kind of falls flat. So then we're going to go young and rebuild, and they start to grow up a little bit. Well, now let's add some pieces, and now we add, then that goes flat. They have never stuck to, you know, a game plan, and so it's been difficult for them to build any kind of consistency. You just wonder how much is left with the core they have out here now. Bautista, Encarnacion, Donaldson. You know, Martin's going to be here for a while. You know, are they going to be able to squeeze something out of this group? We'll see. But I think you get the feeling around here that they need to go for it now, which is why the pressure is on Anthopoulos to get something done on the pitching end.
1-1 to count to Geyer. Trade deadline 13 days away. So your major league debut in this building against a team that would go on to win the World Series in '93.
Yeah, first hitter I ever faced was Paul Molitor.
Hall of Famer.
Right. I'm pitching against Eastern Illinois, and a couple months later I'm pitching against Paul Molitor in the reigning world champion Blue Jays, soon to be two-time world champion Blue Jays. Yeah, it was quite the culture shock in a couple of
slight jump from Eastern Illinois to the world champs of the major league.
just slight.
And Molitor. You know, if people go back on the baseball reference books, they will see that first hitter, Paul Molitor, hit a double.
Yeah.
But they have no idea.
Oh, you know, that's how you joke sometimes that, well, it's going to go down in the book as a screaming line drive. That's about what happened.
We got to revisit this when we come back as Donaldson throws out Geyer to end the top half of the fourth inning. A 1-2-3 inning for R.A. Dickey. Rays still lead 1-0. Here in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, is the CN Tower, and Emily Austin is way up on top.
Look, more than 1,000 feet up, and here I am inside the CN Tower. It was a little bit of a terrifying ride with the see-through floors and the elevators on the way up here, but the views are more than worth it. It's a 360 view, all of Toronto. You can see the lake inside the Rogers Center. It is absolutely gorgeous up here. If you ever make your way to Toronto, it's a must-see and a landmark for the city. Guys, back to you.
Forget it.
What do you mean forget it?
Listen, between Ham Hands Lead,
who's Ham Hands?
Nate Lead,
massage therapist.
You remember a couple of years ago, he went up on the tower and did where they strap you and you get to lean out over it.
Yep.
Okay, that's insanity, number one. But number two, when Emily was, talking about what she said, see-through floors, I'm assuming on the ride up.
Yep.
Yeah, no.
Beautiful.
Oh, have you done it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's nice.
Oh, I'm sure it is. The view looked amazing.
It's It's been a few years since I've been up there, but the views around the city are unbelievable. And a day like today, 3-0 to Jose Bautista. Green light, and it doesn't pay off. Or will it? Because this is a tough ball in the infield. Tim Beckham, the only one that can see it, and he comes across to make the play.
Communication is the key on those pop-ups here today.
That looks photoshopped, but that's real.
It is real. It is real, and anybody that knows Nate Lead knows that he is an adventurist. I mean, this guy, whatever city we go to, he's going to try something that makes you shake your head and go, wow, I wish I had that kind of intestinal fortitude.
Like swim with whale sharks in Atlanta?
Yeah, every time.
Hit well to left field. Butler on the move. He's going to watch it one hop against the fence. Edwin Encarnacion into second with a one-out double. First extra base hit allowed by Ramirez, and the second hit overall.
Well, Encarnacion and Bautista, they want to get extended and drive the ball preferably up the middle and into left. This one goes into left center field. You know, they've had trouble getting out and around those pitches that the Rays have been delivering here so far in this series, because for the most part, Rays pitchers have stayed middle away, trying to force these guys to pull that pitch, and they've not been very successful until right there.
Only the second hit for Encarnacion in his career against Erasmo in 11 at-bats. He now has a home run and a double with those two hits, and Justin Smoke, the batter. Erasmo pitched him well the first time up, getting him to strike out on a curveball, going back-to-back on the curveball for the strikeout. This time he starts him with a fastball for a called strike, 0-1. Smoke hitting .254 coming in with 9 home runs and 28 runs batted in. Picked up 3 of those RBIs last night on a 3-run home run. Way outside, 1-1.
And you see Ramirez immediately start wiping off that pitching hand. It's a nice day, but you know, you're going to get sweaty. He's got the 3/4 sleeves. You can see the glistening off the forearms right there, and that sometimes can affect the delivery. That ball slipping out of the hand.
Now it's 2-1. You know that CN Tower has a little restaurant on top too, where you sit and it just revolves all the way around. You get the view of everything. Pretty cool. You should go up one time.
Yeah, well, let's go have lunch, and
okay.
I can assure you one thing: we're going to go up there, have lunch, and I'm going to leave my lunch up there.
Not a fan of heights.
Before we come down.
I wouldn't do what Nate Leet did, but I would go again up to the top where Ham was today. There's always a debate too. Can you throw a baseball from the top of that into the stadium? And I don't think it was possible.
I don't think you'd get even that close at all. And with the see-through floor, I don't think you'll ever see me up there either.
2-2 the count to Justin Smoke. Runner on second is Encarnacion. Swing and a miss. Another big strikeout. Erasmo has retired Smoke twice on strikeouts.
We saw Jake Odorizzi last night feed Justin Smoke a heavy diet of changeups, and there was another one right there. Yeah, see that very, very aggressive, extremely aggressive. I would say bordering on the reckless.
That I wouldn't do. I don't think. I don't know. I don't think I would do that.
You know what's bad when you get that tickly stomach just looking at those pictures. That means it's just not for you.
2 outs, runner on second, and the pitch is inside of Russell Martin. Just then, you had that little uncomfortable.
Well, listen. You guys want a mess to clean up, keep showing these pictures.
Rays lead at 1-0, both teams with 2 hits. As you see the tower leading down to the stadium. Right back to the pitcher. He fumbles, but Erasmo has plenty of time, and now he can walk it over and underhand to Loney for the final out. So a 1-out double is stranded, and the Rays head to the 5th, leading 1-0. on this date in 2008. Coming out of the All-Star break, Ben Zobrist hits a 2-run home run in the top of the 7th. Proved to be the game winner as James Shields outdueled A.J. Burnett. The Rays would defeat the Blue Jays 2-1. And that would be a big moment in the Rays' 2008 American League Championship season.
Boy, what a special year that was. I mean, everybody, I think, all season long waiting. When are the Rays going to fall off? This is a nice, cute story. When is it going to go away? And it didn't.
I remember in August, series in Seattle, Crawford gets hurt, Longoria gets hurt. And you're like, all right, the bubble has just burst. Hinske replaces Crawford.
That's
Ibar,
right.
Willie Ibar replaces Longoria, and the rest was history. Those guys, Crawford didn't play again until the postseason, and it was a remarkable year. Whenever you thought the team was faltering, they would find a way to continue on the remarkable season.
You know, that's a resiliency that's fostered from up top. It just kind of filters its way down, and it's the same way now. Like all the injuries this team has had to deal with from the beginning of the season, from before the beginning of the season.
0-2 pitches popped up. Russell Martin, after losing the mask, makes the play for the first out here in the 5th. Our Yellowwood bringing the lumber. Tim Beckham against the Toronto Blue Jays, hitting .381 coming into the game, including a couple of home runs against the Jays.
A couple of sweeping breaking balls by lefties. He's deposited into the stands over the fence.
He would have a 3rd home run against Toronto, but Kevin Pillar made potentially the play of the year against the Rays that we've seen so far.
And how about the fact that Kevin Pillar now, that defensive metric, the defensive runs saved.
Yep.
Kevin Kiermaier, #1 with 20. Kevin Pillar, #2.
How about that?
With 13. Well, we know of one for sure. 13 runs saved. This one is tangible. We can see that. Yes.
Jackie Robinson Day, April 15th. Kevin Pillar bringing back the home run to save Todd Redmond. So now 0-2 the count to Tim Beckham. Check swing and he'll stay alive. You're right. This team, the 2015 version of the Rays, is a team that around the league most people are waiting to falter. They're like, well, they had a nice run in the early part of the season. If you follow this team day in and day out, you see a team that has figured out a way, despite all the injuries, who still is not 100% healthy. And Drew Smiley could come back next month. That is a huge boost. Desmond Jennings could be back. Steven Souza and Asdrubal Cabrera are currently on the DL. Kevin Cash still not playing with a full squad. And here they are at 500.
Well, what you want to say to those people is if you are going to take that approach again and you're going to sit around and wait for this team to falter and go away, I would not hold my breath. Probably not going to end up being very good for you because they just continue. They just keep on. You know, it's next man up. It's opportunity for somebody else. We've already talked about how many guys have really come up big for the Rays this year. Tim Beckham being one of them, and Tim Beckham with a double here.
To the wall, Beckham into second. Carrera fumbled it for a while, and Beckham with a 1-out double. He's now been on base twice with a walk and a double. Tim Beckham getting his first start since coming back from Durham.
A couple of big hits beginning of the year. We saw a couple of those home runs, and now here with a knuckleball, he waits back on it, able to keep it fair. And he gives the Rays an opportunity to try to expand that lead.
Beckham did a nice job with the Durham Bulls after coming off the DL. This is where, I mean, every player at AAA wants to be at the big league level. Tim Beckham desperately wants to be at the big league level. He is a guy that feels like he has paid his dues in the minor leagues, wants to make a name for himself, former #1 overall pick, and he just loves the atmosphere about being a big leaguer.
Well, you're not going to find anybody that's got big league time that goes back and says,
right.
I dig it here in Durham.
But his is a drive.
Oh, it is.
To the core.
There was a lot of expectations on this kid. He's first pick. You know, coming out of high school. Typically with a high school player, you've got a longer road. And so he feels like he's traveled it and wants to be here, has gotten a taste. He's gotten a taste of success at this level. But the whole key, one thing to get here, it's another thing to be able to stay here. And that's where you're going to have to make adjustments, because the league will adjust to you. They will find a weakness. They will exploit it. You got to keep plugging that hole.
Casale fouls one off. It's 2-2 to Kirk Casale. Beckham on second with one out. Casale with a productive ground out his first time up. Up top, it's now 3-2. On deck, the leadoff hitter John Jaso, who drove in the first run of the game. In the air, shallow center. In comes Pilar, and there's two away. So now here's John Jaso with that double his last time up. Driving in Tim Beckham from third. Rays yesterday were 1 for 5 with runners in scoring position. That's the exact same mark where they are so far today. That is an area that you would hope would improve from the pre-All-Star break to the post-All-Star break, because the Rays were 14th out of 15.
And if you want to play in the postseason, it's going to have to improve. It's going to have to improve. It doesn't have to be dramatic improvement, but it has to be improvement. This offense has to squeeze a little bit more out of itself if the Rays want to get into October, meaningful October baseball.
2:20, runners in scoring position prior to the break. Ball in the dirt, blocked by Russell Martin. Line drive, center field, base hit. Beckham being waved around. Kevin Pillar's throw is in time. Out at home plate is Beckham.
I guess that number now is 14.
Base hit by John Jaso. Rays took a chance, and Tim Beckham is thrown out at the plate. As you see Martin clearly applying the tag before Beckham can get his hand in.
Boy, he tries to go around him. Yeah, that ball, it's in the hand, into the glove. This is interesting right here.
You think he might have done?
Look at him reach. Maybe got him with that bare hand, and then the hand comes around. And
he tagged him right on the stomach area.
Well, and Kevin Cash is still trying to get a good look and let these guys know whether he's going to take a look at it or not. It's a run, so listen, yeah, he's saying let's take a look then. Hey, the last call went their way and it looked sketchy. You never know.
I mean, it looks like he's tagged right before he puts the hand on the plate. And unless there's another angle that shows he missed him in the midsection, but it looks like he's tagged in the midsection.
But here's the thing, with this being a potential run in a one-run game, absolutely.
And it's the
fifth inning.
You're not going to have you're going to basically get your challenge back, if you will, after the sixth.
Yeah, I think this is a good challenge by Cash. Got a chance.
I don't know. I mean, is Kevin challenging the fact that he was tagged out? There's no way he's challenging the blocking of the plate, right? Because it looked like Martin clearly gave him a lane and slid over. Either way, it would be surprising if the Rays get this run, but we'll see what happens. I would like to be wrong. Kevin Pillar's already got his helmet on.
Optimistic.
Right there. I mean, unless there's a clear angle that shows that Martin didn't tag him in the midsection.
Yeah, no. Yeah, and there you go.
He took a flyer. Didn't work out, but the Rays still lead 1-0. We head to the bottom of the fifth.
Astros lead still remains just 1. Watch the throw. He gets rid of it low, accurate. It catches the backside of the mound, and it rolls to Russell Martin. Makes it a little bit easier for him to make that play and get the tag on Tim Beckham. But check this out. Tim Beckham, okay, heading towards the plate. There's 2 outs. No reason to look back. You should just be running on contact and going all out. But that little look back right there costs him just a little bit of time and allows an easier play for Russell Martin. Well, that's one of those things, you take your secondary lead, there's contact, there's 2 outs, it's head down, you run till you hear the whistle. Really, there's no reason to look anywhere.
And now Kevin Pillar leads off the bottom of the 5th with a line drive to the wall. He has a leadoff double for Toronto.
Well, since the 1st of June, he is one of the hottest hitters in Major League Baseball. He's getting it done defensively, offensively, really emerging for this Blue Jay ball club. Haven't had too many mislocations by Erasmo Ramirez into a bad spot. That one meant to be away, runs back middle, and Pillar capitalizes. Blue Jays with a threat.
Kevin Pillar getting regular playing time in center field now. Remember, Dalton Pompey was their center fielder on opening day. He was sent to the minor leagues, and now Pillar, BA mentioned his defensive metrics, and one of the hottest hitters in baseball over the last couple of months. You've got a guy who continues to add to the depth of this lineup, which is as thick as any lineup in baseball. Ezekiel Carrera around the bunt, takes one inside, almost was hit by that pitch. It's 1-0.
Yeah, and for Carrera, how you get your body and the bat out of the zone. I mean, that's tough when you square around the bunt and ball's coming at you. You're thinking self-preservation, and oh, by the way, I don't want to take a strike either.
Rays anticipating bunt. James Loney and Evelyn Goriot in on the corners. Tries to bunt it towards Longoria and bunts it foul.
These are the fundamentals in this day and age of pitching dominant league right now that have to be executed. The Rays need to do this. The teams, you want to squeeze every last run out of your opportunities. You got to be able to get bunts down, get runners over. How'd that miss him?
That's 2 that almost hit Carrera way inside. It's 2-1. One of the things Ramirez is thinking about too is the fact that Longoria is covering third, so he's responsible as this breaking ball missed the back foot and as it bounced up there. He's responsible for covering everything from the mound to the line. Even though Evans in, he's been breaking back to the bag to cover. Bunt attempt goes awry. It's 2-2.
Yeah, and Carrera, this is a guy, listen, he's a guy that should be able to get a bunt down. But it's a fundamental that is lacking. You just don't.
Across the game.
Well, when you watch batting practice and you watch guys lay down their obligatory 2 bunts, there's 0 effort put into it. It's just like, yeah, bunt here, bunt there, now I'm going to go to Hackett. I mean, there really isn't.
So now Ramirez has a chance to get a big out without advancing the runner. 2-2 the count. You saw Steve Geltz warming up. He does get the runner over on a ground ball on the right side. Forsythe makes the play. So despite not getting the bunt down, Carrera does accomplish what he was sent up there for. Now a runner on third with 1 out. It's Christmas in July, and Sunday, July 26th, the Rays will be celebrating when they host the Orioles. Kids 14 and under will receive a Rays surprise Christmas gift. For tickets, call 888-FAN-RAYS or visit RaysBaseball.com. Rays up. Jim Hickey discussing things with his starter Erasmo Ramirez. Hickey's not that tall. Ramirez is on the backside of the bullpen.
Yeah, but he has that aura when he comes out there. He listen, when he comes out there, Jim Hickey gets those neck veins just flaring. He's got a plan of attack. He does a lot of, he goes out there and instructs. And he really brings out with him confidence. Like, hey, this is what we're going to do. It's going to work. You just do this, this, and this, and we're going to get this guy. He's either going to hit it toward one of our infielders or you're going to punch him out. And, when he leaves the mound, you're left feeling, hey, we're going to do this. We're going to get out of this jam.
Rays with the infield in against the rookie Devin Travis. Popped up. Will it be playable? Loney over by the stands. Drifting, and he drops the ball. Dropped the ball, had a play on it. It would have been a nice play, but it's one the Rays really could have used.
And James Loney was 6'4" and a lot of reach. Was the glove bumped by any of the fans? Now he is reaching into the fans, which is why there's no interference. You know, you come into contact with those hands, but he was reaching over that barrier, right there. The gentleman in the plaid shirt.
Now a line drive, base hit down the right field line, tie game. Devin Travis to second with an RBI double.
Boy, doesn't it figure.
Can't give this team extra outs.
No, I don't care where in the lineup you're at. You're right. You just cannot give him extra outs. Now he was, you know, that glove was bumped, so you understand, but still, a play that James would say, listen, I got to find a way to make sure that I secure that baseball. And now Travis, a new life, and he goes right up the line. Not only driving a run in, but he puts himself now into scoring position.
So Travis now with 33 runs batted in. He was off to such a blistering start. Still his numbers, despite missing a lot of games this year with that shoulder injury, right up there with anybody in their rookie seasons. Missed 36 games for the Blue Jays. And he has picked up with a hot streak since coming back from the DL. Jose Reyes at the plate. They're going to appeal at first base. And Laz Diaz signals safe.
And watch Evan Longoria's positioning at third base. This is where you may see Jose Reyes, if he wanted to get aggressive, lay a bunt down. Longoria now starting to sneak in just a little bit, but plenty of room for Reyes to bunt if he wants.
Popped up. Longoria will have this play. Second out.
Well, big out there, but now you got to face Josh Donaldson with a runner in scoring position. And we've already talked about how good the Blue Jays have been with 2 outs driving in runs, and this may end the afternoon here for Erasmo.
Erasmo will not get a chance to pitch through the 5th inning of this tie game as he is lifted with Josh Donaldson due 2 outs in the inning. Steve Geltz will be your new Rays pitcher. Pitched well while he was in there.
Yes, he did. I mean, he absolutely did exactly what the Rays asked him to do, and I'm sure he'd be the first to tell you he still wants to be out there in this situation. He's not the only one, but while he was out there, Erasmo Ramirez is going to give you everything he has. There would be the pitch. You can see the reaction by Kurt Casale because they had him retired on a pop-up in foul territory that went for naught, and he's able to come back, get the big hit, driving the tying run, and after the pop-up to Reyes. Erasmo Ramirez out after just 4 2/3 and a pitch count in the mid-60s.
65 pitches, 43 for strikes, and he turns it over to Steve Geltz to face one of the game's best in Josh Donaldson. Up high, ball 1.
Well, Ramirez punched Donaldson out the last time he faced him. Bottom of the 3rd. That would end that inning.
Donaldson hit one against Geltz last night to the wall that Kevin Kiermaier made a great play on in deep right center field. 2-0 the count. We have seen this before, where the Rays' 3rd time through the lineup with a rested bullpen will go to the pen. But with Ramirez going the way he's been going this year, like you said, he's a pop-up caught away from being through the 5th in a 1-0 lead. And instead he doesn't get through the 5th after the double and the pop-up to Jose Reyes. See if Geltz can get Donaldson here. He reached on an error against Erasmo and also struck out. In the air to right field. Brandon Guyer should have a play. He does. And we're through 5, tied at 1. So Steve Geltz comes on to get Josh Donaldson. We head to the 6th. RBI double to get the Rays on the board in the 3rd inning over the head of Jose Bautista. And then the Blue Jays came back in the bottom half of the 5th. Devin Travis, after a pop-up, unable to be caught right along the fans on the first base side, and he pays, or makes the Rays pay with an RBI double to tie the game at 1, and that's where we stand. 1-1 heading into the 6th inning. R.A. Dickey, not that pitch counts are incredibly important for knuckleballers, but he sits at 89 going into this inning. Joey Butler, Evan Longoria, James Loney due up for the Rays, and Butler takes one outside and high, 1-0. Butler has flied out and struck out. In the dirt, 2-0. No, we never followed up on Paul Molitor's double. First batter you face in your big league career. Baseball Reference, all the scorebooks will show double.
Yeah.
But that doesn't tell the story.
Well, I mean, ultimately.
A little dribbler, Dickey off the mound quickly, and he throws the first in time.
Ultimately, it does. However, the double by Paul Molitor, what it was I threw him a backdoor breaking ball.
First batter you face in the big league.
Yeah, it worked the count, backdoor breaking ball. He reaches out and hits a little pop-up. We're directly behind second base here. And that was Skydome at that point. And directly behind second base, a little pop-up. Second baseman, shortstop, center fielder, they come in. Everybody's exchanging pleasantries. Nobody's calling for the ball. It lands in the middle of all three guys, bounces up high off the turf, and Molitor strolls into second with a double. And I'm like, really? That's how it's going to go? And that's how it went for the next 13 years.
That was your welcome to the big leagues moment, huh?
Welcome to the big leagues. And then ended up giving up, get 2 outs with him still out there, and come with a fastball in on Pat Borders.
Okay.
And saw him off, break the bat, and it lofts right out over the shortstop's head. I ended up getting another inning of work, so I ended up giving up that 1 run in 2 innings.
On a pop-up and a broken bat.
Yeah. Listen, and that right there was foreshadowing. I'm not even kidding you.
Pitching during the time when hitters enjoyed some advantages in the game. 1-2 pitch is fouled away off the bat of Evan Longoria.
Yeah, that was a challenge, too. I mean, you look back on things, and you're right in the heart of that era, and it wasn't like I was very overpowering. Some of the... Yes, it wasn't that fair. But oh well, that's the way it was. That was one of those things where when you're going through that time, you didn't think about it. You thought about how to get guys out. You look back now and say maybe the deck was stacked against you.
Longoria chases. Strikeout for R.A. Dickey. That's number 4 at his first since the 3rd inning.
Now another knuckleball up in the zone. He got Joey Butler on that pitch a couple of innings ago. He gets Evan Longoria once again on another knuckler up. But that was just one of those things that, everything was relative.
Right.
Everybody had to deal with it.
Right.
And so you did the best you could.
Everybody's hitting 30 home runs.
Listen, that's true. I mean, it was amazing, the numbers at the All-Star break. There were numbers at the All-Star break that guys would get paid big time for a year nowadays.
Right now, yeah. James Loney, the hitter, does not like that call. And it's 1-1. He thought that was inside. He's flied to left and flied to right. Now he chases upstairs, 1-2. Both teams with 4 hits, both teams with an error, both teams with a run. We play in the 6th inning here in Toronto. Down the line, foul. Carrera, long run, and can't quite get there. It bounces into the stands.
Heard footsteps. A little gator arm action there by Ezekiel Carrera. He's trying to find that ball. He knows the low wall is coming up on him. And right here, starts to pull up, shorten the...
Had a little room.
Yes, he
Would have
did.
been a nice catch, but had a little room. So the count stays 2-2 on James. Saw earlier that the
that's one of those plays where, you think about Donaldson, what he did at Tropicana Field, diving about 3 rows deep.
Ground ball right side. That'll do it for the Rays here in the 6th inning. Tied up at 1 as we head to the bottom of the 6th. Promised earlier in the game, we have selected the Data Strong fan photo of the game. Tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag #SSDataStrongFan for a chance to be featured in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Congratulations to Ashley Nicole. 3, 4, and 5 for Steve Kells to negotiate here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Jose Bautista, Edwin Encarnacion, Justin Smoke.
You go back to the photo,
yep.
Ashley Nicole photo. First of all, she's got a 9er, which is sweet at the end of the name.
Yeah.
And then that was a legit excited face. Like sometimes you can tell staged, like I'm trying to look excited. And then there's other shots where you say that's legitimate, legit excited. Thumbs up, the 9er at the end. Easy win.
Extra wise.
Yeah, why not?
Beautiful. 2-0 pitch is crushed. Blue Jays take the lead on Jose Bautista going into the sweet level at the Rogers Center for his 18th home run of the year.
Jose Bautista is going to sell out for the heater. He's been beat on that heater up in the zone, but this one, he gets the head out, and boy, does he punish that baseball.
Bautista previously 0 for 5 with a couple of strikeouts against Kelts, but he absolutely hammered that into the suite level, not far from the restaurant, which is part of the Renaissance Hotel in left center field. Up high, it's 2-0.
And this is part of the gamble of going out and getting Erasmo Ramirez in the bottom of the 5th. They're throwing the ball as well as anybody for one matchup. Got the fly ball by Donaldson, but, well, it's 2-1 Toronto. And one of the best pitchers right now is on the bench.
Encarnacion hits one high in the air. Who wants it? It falls in foul territory. Nobody gets there. Longoria, Beckham, Butler converge, and nobody made the play.
Well, you'd like to see, Joey Butler be able to get to that ball. Easier for the outfielder moving in than it is for the infielders moving out. First of all, this is right over the shoulder. We've seen Longoria make these plays, but difficult with the conditions today. And all three converge. No one really takes control of the situation. And now you're just avoiding contact. Fortunately, that ball was foul.
But another opportunity for Edwin Encarnacion. We've seen a couple of pop-ups that could have been caught. James Loney, a difficult chance with the fans on the rail. But Devin Travis made the Rays pay with a double to tie the game after that pop-up wasn't caught. Now Encarnacion, bullet, one hop. Tim Beckham nicely makes the play. First out here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. College nights are back at Tropicana Field. Bulls fans unite on July 25th for USF night. Get a USF Rays tumbler with this ticket package, and we will chop at the Trop with our Seminole fans on July 26th, the next day, when those who purchase this special package get a garnet and gold Rays hat. Visit RaysBaseball.com/special events. 0-1 to Smoke.
Todd, when you start to think about the communication issue that the Rays just had out there on that pop-up, how many times has it been Longoria with Beckham and Joey Butler?
Very rarely.
Converging on a pop. I may say never on a play like that.
That would be probably never.
And that obviously played into it.
It looked like at the end Butler was trying to call them off, but
a call coming, if that was when he started it, that's too late. If he's calling before that, maybe the guys just didn't hear him.
And then you clear out if you can hear him.
Then you peel off and get out of the way and let him take his chances. But if he was calling it at the moment we picked that up, if that was the first time he called it, at that point it's too late.
Geltz ahead of Smoke, 1-2, bounces that one in there. It's 2-2. Oh, the Blue Jays offense we've told you about, top to bottom, better than anybody in baseball by a large margin. You knew one run probably wasn't going to be enough. The Rays had a 1-0 lead until the 5th. Toronto tied it in the 5th and now takes the lead in the 6th. 2 big hops for James Loney for the second out. Our Buick big matchup will show you how dominant this Toronto offense is.
Well, look at the runs a game, the home runs, third, everything. You know, even the runners in scoring position. You think about how prolific this offense is. You know, they're even tied for 5th in stolen bases, so they'll run on you. They're good with runners in scoring position. They're good with 2 outs. They hit a lot of home runs. It's, you know, they're not limited in how they can score off you. You think about a team like the Baltimore Orioles. You know, they don't run, they don't walk. They're very limited in creating opportunities to score. Toronto Blue Jays are not.
Kelts was 2-0 on Batista before the home run, 2-0 on Encarnacion before he worked the count back and got him to ground out. Now he's 2-0 on Russell Martin, living dangerously against this Jays lineup. There's a strike, 2-1. We mentioned how far back the Yankees were as the second highest scoring team in baseball. Blue Jays are approaching 500 runs scored on the year. Only 2 other teams have as many as 400. In the air, center field, pretty deep, but Kevin Kiermaier in the shadows makes the play in front of the track. And that'll do it for Toronto here in the 6th. But Jose Batista ties up the game with his 18th home run of the season and gives the Jays a 2-1 lead. For more information, go to FloridaCubotaDealers.com. Buy the all-new LG G4. See the great, feel the great. And buy your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. Rays now working with a deficit for the first time today. Thanks to that guy, Jose Batista, who deposited one into the sweet level here at Rogers Center. A big blast to left field to give Toronto a 2-1 lead. New pitcher for the Jays is Aaron Loup. Takes over after R.A. Dickey goes 6 innings, a 4-hit, 1-run baseball. The lefty Loup will throw the 2-seamer, changeup, and a slider. Will face the Rays. Right-hand hitting Logan Forsythe, right-hand hitting Brandon Guyer, and then the lefty Kevin Kiermaier. So Loup on here in the 7th, trying to protect a 2-1 lead. Called strike to Forsythe, 0-1. Logan singled off the leg of R.A. Dickey his first time up, and also flied to right. Nothing in 2. More action in the Jays bullpen as Ryan Tepera starts to throw, right-hander. 93 on that fastball. That's about where Luke lives with a fastball.
And Luke will give you a little bit of that crossfire action. Try to run that fastball in on the righties, away from the lefties.
Rays will not defeat R.A. Dickey for the 4th time this year. If they're to win this game, it's going to have to come against the Blue Jays bullpen. As Dickey leaves the game, only a chance to win or get a no decision.
The Blue Jay bullpen ERA-wise, right in the middle of the pack. We saw some good arms last night. Bo Schultz came in impressive. Osuna, impressive. Luke can be tough just because of not only the stuff, you know, firm fastball 93, but the deception in the delivery.
On the ground, right side, Devin Travis is there. 1 away here in the 7th. Follow your arrow to Tropicana Field Saturday, July 25th to watch the Rays take on the Baltimore Orioles, and stick around after the game for a post-game concert with country star Casey Musgrave. She'll be performing hits such as Follow Your Arrow and Biscuits. Call 888-FAN-RAYS or visit RaysBaseball.com. Brandon Guyer fouls one back, 0-1. Luke facing a couple of right-handers coming out of the bullpen. He's actually fared better against righties this year than lefties. 247 from the right side, and lefty hitters 280 against the Jays left-handers.
Well, you'd expect the damage to be done by the righties, but that average with lefties, you know, primarily he's pitching them away too. You know, with that, the way that his motion is set up against a left-handed hitter, he's going to drive that ball away, and so you get some guys that stay in there and slap him into left field.
In the air, deep to left field. Carrera looks up. We are tied at 2. Brandon Guyer with a home run, his 4th on the season, to knock this game in the 7th inning.
Well, and with 2 strikes, no less, Brandon Guyer, big clutch hit there for the Rays. A lot of times you're just looking to protect, but he gets a mistake, and quick, strong forearms.
Brandon Guyer with a home run to tie it. And now here's Kevin Kiermaier. Kiermaier takes a called strike. 3 of Guyer's 4 home runs on the season have come against lefties. Down low, 1-1.
You just never give up on an at-bat, and that's all Brandon Guyer. He's one of those guys. 1 and 2, he's still going to try and battle you, do the best he can. And that particular at-bat, Luke trying to come in, is going to leave the pitch out over the plate, and just a quick flip of the wrist. Luke creating a lot of the velocity, and Brandon Guyer just with sweet contact.
Called 3rd strike on the outside corner. Kiermaier goes down looking. In today's game and all season long, Tires Plus donates $100 to the Pediatric Cancer Foundation for every Tampa Bay Rays home run during televised Sun Sports games. Brandon Guyer adds to that donation for the Pediatric Cancer Foundation, and that last strikeout will be the last batter that Aaron Luke will face in this game, as the lefty is taken out. I'll tell you about the new Toronto pitcher when we come back. We are tied at 2 in the 7th inning. 2 with his 4th home run of the season here in the top of the 7th. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is celebrating 13 years. Keep an eye on the Rays competition and watch every out-of-market game live or on demand in true HD on over 400 mobile and connected devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV.
Look who's here.
No way.
Yes way.
Stammer. I was reading the promo.
And he's got the throwback lid on.
I like it.
I do too.
Toronto's own Steven Stamkos has become the face of the franchise for the Tampa Bay Lightning. He took a little BP not too long ago at Tropicana Field, along with Ben Bishop and others on the Lightning team. Tim Beckham is the first batter that Ryan Tepera faces, called strike nothing and one.
And you would think that the hockey guys probably take the best BP of any other sport. Is a general rule coming in. You've seen some football players take BP, basketball players take BP, but the hockey, they deal with the stick, redirection.
Teddy Purcell also in the crowd from the Lightning as Tim Beckham grounds out to end the inning. So we are at the 7th inning stretch here in Toronto as Purcell, Stamkos, and others watching on in a 2-2 game. Inning. Kevin Jepsen is the new pitcher for the Tampa Bay Rays. It's up to the bullpens now.
Yep, a battle of the bullpens. The Rays well stocked, well rested. And let's see if the fellas can go out there today and get it done, continue to throw up zeros and pull this game out.
Here's what's coming up tomorrow on our Rays Live pregame show presented by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. We'll hear from Rays All-Star pitcher Chris Archer, and also Orestes will break down second baseman for the Toronto Blue Jays, rookie Devin Travis. All that tomorrow beginning at 12:30 for a 107 first pitch. Jepsen will face the bottom third of the Blue Jays order. Still lethal with Kevin Pillar, Ezekiel Carrera, and Devin Travis. Let's see Jepsen's numbers on the year. Some lineups, you get to the bottom third, you have a bit of a breather. Not the case against the Toronto Blue Jays. Pillar pops one foul, and Jepsen has a 1-1 count.
Well, we've already documented how Kevin Pillar's been swinging the bat for the last month and a half. Has got a double in this ball game. Devin Travis is coming off the disabled list, and he's been swinging the bat very well for the Blue Jays. So you're right, 7-8-9. It's not your typical 7-8-9. So you got to bear down.
Pitches away. It's 2-1. All right, Dickey receives a no decision after the Brandon Guyer home run, so Dickey's record remains at 3-10 on the year and is still not beaten the Rays, although he pitched very well against them today. The cloud covering the sun just got some applause here from the 41,583.
They've been getting beat on all day.
Missed the outside corner. The count's full.
I think both Kevin Jepsen and Kevin Pillar were waiting for that call from Chris Guccione, because that was a close pitch and you're stuck there. Jepsen thinks he may have gotten it. Pillar thinks it may have been strike 3.
In the air center field, Kiermaier comes on. 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th. Kevin Jepsen in a late and close situation. Nothing surprising there. He leads the major leagues in that category.
Yeah, I mean, what has he had, like, a handful of at-bats that haven't been in that situation? I mean, that's heavy-duty work he's putting up for the Rays.
91.9% coming in. 148 of the 161 batters he has faced are late and close situations.
So 13. So he's had 13 at-bats that he hasn't been on pins and needles.
And that's when you're pitching in the 7th, 8th, or 9th with the game tied or ahead by 1 where the tying run is on deck. So basically no margin.
None. Perfect pitches you have to make. I mean, it's amazing with these guys. And that's a byproduct of the way that this bullpen is used. And the fact that the Rays, because they're not an offensive juggernaut, they're in a lot of very close games. That's why, even going back to the complementary pitching we were talking about last night, how you're gonna have to give these guys a blow every now and then. You're gonna have to get a guy deep into a game to keep these guys fresh for the final kick here.
I don't know if Kevin Cash decided to go to the pen a little earlier than normal because of Chris Archer pitching tomorrow, but that certainly has to be part of the consideration.
There's no question about it. You will absolutely manage this game differently because of who's pitching tomorrow. Now, I think, even with that being said, it was a little bit too early. But that's the luxury that you're afforded because of Chris Archer.
One hop to Logan Forsythe, then there's 2 away. So Carrera is retired after Pillar, and there's 2 outs here in the 7th. Rays led this game 1-0 on a John Jaso RBI double. The game was tied on a Devin Travis RBI double in the 5th. Blue Jays took the lead in the 6th on a Jose Bautista home run. And then the Rays tied it in the 7th on a Brandon Guyer home run. Devin Travis, the batter. He had that RBI double to tie the game back in the 5th. .33 runs batted in on the year for Travis in less than 200 at bats. We saw him early in the season and he looked really impressive.
Yeah, I mean, that's been a troublesome spot for the Toronto Blue Jays, second base, and this looks like a guy who can hold that fort down for years to come.
In the air, shallow right, deep first. Who wants it? Loney's looking at Forsythe, and Logan takes control for the final out of the inning. So 1-2-3 inning out of the bullpen for Kevin Jepsen. We head to the 8th, tied at 2. the Diamond Source game summary. The Jays and the Rays have identical numbers. Both teams with a solo home run. Both teams with 2 runs scored on 5 hits and an error. We are as close as we can be heading into the 8th. The Rays have left 4. The Rays have left 3. The Jays have left 4. And Ryan Tepera, who got the final out of the 7th inning, will deal with Curt Casali, and then the top of the order for the Rays here in the 8th. First pitch is a fastball, which he brings around 95 miles an hour, up high for a ball, 1-0.
Well, he's able to create that velocity. You know, obviously got to have a very good arm for that, but then watch the little twist here. A little deception there, then fly open and get.
Casali hits one deep. Carrera back. This ball's gone. Curt Casali breaks the tie and gives the Rays a 3-2 lead here in the 8th inning.
This is precisely the reason that Alex Anthopoulos is looking for help on the pitching end of things. You've got a lead, and then very quickly the Rays are able to put together a couple of home runs to get back out in front. It was a hanging breaking ball, and I mean hanging. Very little movement to that pitch, and Curt Casali got a great view of it, got the head out, got lift, and launched.
So Casali hits his 2nd home run of the season. And it couldn't come at a bigger spot for him, breaking the tie in the 8th against the Toronto Blue Jays. Called strike to John Jaso, 0-1. I have to be honest, during that inning break, knowing that David DeJesus and Grady Sizemore were on the bench, I peeked down a couple of times as John Jaso sends one to center field, wondering if Kevin Cash, as the left fielder Carrera calls off Pilar for the catch, wondering if Kevin Cash was going to let his catcher hit or possibly go to one of his lefties against Tepera. Tepera's been tough against lefties. He keeps Casali in there. Boom. Tie's broken.
Genius. A genius move by not making a move. It's all about the internals, Todd.
I mean, he's another guy who has great numbers, better numbers facing left-hand hitters than he does right-hand hitters. And a right-hand hitter got him there, and the Rays lead it 3-2. Here's Joey Butler looking for his first hit of the day. Jaso was retired for just the 2nd time. He's now 2 for 4. Butler has flied out, grounded out, and struck out, and down to the count, 0-2. Joey battling a 4 for 44 right now in his last 16 games. That's away. It's 1-2. And when you're in one of those slumps, it feels like 0-2, 1-2 all day long. On the ground, in the hole, Reyes backhand throws one hop off the turf, and it's not in time. Joey Butler with an infield hit.
Well, he got a breaking ball, and he got it to the right spot. You know, Jose Reyes had to scramble to his right into the hole, and Joey Butler hustling up the line. You see here Reyes ranging over. Now you got to throw back across your body. He does his best, but Joey Butler too quick.
So a 1-out base runner for the Rays, trying to tack on a run here. Tampa Bay leading 3-2. Evan Longoria, the batter. Called strike. You mentioned Anthopoulos looking for an arm. They have Aaron Sanchez, who is due back. He pitched on Thursday in a rehab start. Sanchez could either move into the rotation or sturdy up the bullpen, depending on what kind of arm they trade for. Back to the mound, could be 2. Tepera at a second for a walk. Quickly turned for the double play. But the Rays break the tie in the 8th inning on a Curt Casali solo home run. We head to the bottom half of the 8th with the Rays leading 3-2. The man behind the mask, Curt Casale, has given the Rays a 3-2 lead heading to the bottom half of the 8th inning, and he will catch a new pitcher. It's the All-Star reliever, Brad Boxberger.
Well, Brad Boxberger coming on here in the bottom of the 8th. Obviously predicated on the matchups. Top of the order for the Blue Jays. 41st time, 23 saves, big strikeout numbers to innings pitched. And like you said, he's an all-star, well-deserved. Didn't get to pitch in that ball game, so I'm sure he's got some juices flowing here.
Warmed up in the 2nd inning, was not needed as Dallas Keuchel worked his way through the 2nd inning for the American League All-Stars. And Boxberger faces Jose Reyes, Josh Donaldson, and Jose Bautista here in the 8th in a 1-run game. First pitch is a fastball up and away to Reyes, 1-0. One ball and one strike. We have seen Boxberger with 23 saves on the season in 25 opportunities, primarily getting the 9th inning. But as you mentioned, it's all about matchups. Kevin Cash preferring to go Boxberger here, top of the lineup. And Jake McGee, who was a closer last year, will get a chance, you would think, in the 9th if the Rays maintain this lead. Boxberger with a strike at the knees. It's 1-2. Drive center field, base hit. Jose Reyes, a leadoff base runner for Toronto. Right now, let's check in with Emily Austin.
Todd, I asked Brad Boxberger what his best memory from the experience at the All-Star game was. He said pre-game in the clubhouse when he just sat at his locker and looked around and just saw the piece of paper of all the names that he's surrounded and who he was able to be in that game with. He didn't get to pitch. However, it was still a great experience. He had all of his family there with him as well.
Yeah, Boxberger doesn't show much emotion, but he definitely appreciated being named to that All-Star team by manager Ned Yost. And here's Josh Donaldson. Up and into Donaldson, 1-0. Josh Donaldson tied with Mark Teixeira for the American League lead in RBIs with 62. And in wins above replacement, he is number 2 in the American League behind Mike Trout of the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. He has finished 2nd to Trout in 2014 and also in 2013. Hard hit ground ball. Evan Longoria backhand. Forsythe one. Turn for the double play. Big time double play turned by the Rays.
Run prevention. And Evan Longoria, we saw him with a wobbly throw earlier in the ball game. And how about this play? That ball well struck by Donaldson. But look at him. He's playing right there on the line. And it's right to him. He turns a quick feed to Forsythe right on the money, and it allows him to clear second base and get it over to Loney. Plenty of time. That was outstanding work, and I'll tell you, that goes back to that defensive placement too. Late in the ball game, you know he's playing a normal third base. That ball is by him up the left field line, and maybe second and third, nobody out.
Now he'll deal with Jose Bautista, and Boxberger throws him a strike, 1-1. Bautista gave Toronto the lead in the 6th inning with a home run into the suite level, the 3rd level here at the Rogers Center. That was against Steve Geltz. This time he is hit by a pitch. Fans are reacting, but that was a breaking ball.
Yeah, it was in the 70s, people. 76 miles an hour. No purpose there. That was a curveball. You know, we've seen Boxberger use that pitch a little bit more frequently this year. He's trying to snap that curveball off, and it just comes squirting out of the hand and catches Bautista right in the back.
Yeah, that was a pitch he threw less than 5 times last year and none after the All-Star break.
I don't think he threw any after April 30th. He was heavy fastball changeup and rode that for success all season long.
Now he has to deal with the guy as he checks Jose Bautista and Edwin Encarnacion, who has good numbers against Boxberger in his career, including this on June 23rd. He is 3 for 6 with that home run against Boxberger. Down and away, ball 1. See his numbers, also been hit by a pitch, struck out a couple of times. Bautista started and stopped. Casale came out of his stance, and there is a ball. Bautista started, stopped. Casale came out of his stance, and Boxberger called for the ball.
You see, you're looking over there at Bautista. You see your catcher coming out, and you start to wonder what's going on out there. There's Bautista with a little false break. That's all that was a false break. And then all of a sudden, yeah, you see Boxberger with that little slight movement before he started his delivery towards home plate. So the false start by Bautista got the desired result. Didn't steal the bag, but sort of stole that bag. And now is out in scoring position here with 2 outs.
Bautista getting a big lead off second on that pitch, and it's 2-0 to Encarnacion.
You know that anything out to the outfield, he's going to try and score. He's the tying run right now. This team's been very good at getting runners in with 2 outs in an inning.
Where did that pitch miss? 3-0.
That was a floating changeup. Seemed to catch everybody off guard. This is a very close pitch.
Tailed inside a little bit. So now it's 3-0. There is a switch hitter, Justin Smoke, on deck. Boxberger has success against lefties, and there's the walk to Encarnacion. At that point, you don't want to give Encarnacion too much to hit.
No. First, yeah, he's 3 for 6 off you, with some damage, and you've fallen behind. He's a dangerous hitter. You force Justin Smoke to beat you, not Edwin Encarnacion. And like you said, you've already kind of foreshadowed the fact that he's had success against this particular hitter.
So we'll have a pinch runner for Edwin Encarnacion, who puts his palms out to say, why am I leaving a game when it's 3-2 in the 8th inning?
Yeah, and I couldn't agree more. So hope you don't see him again, or you wouldn't see him again anyway, but nice to know that he's out of the game.
Danny Valencia will be the pinch runner for the Jays. And now Boxberger will deal with Justin Smoke. Tying run on second, go ahead run on first. Low ball 1. Look at those numbers with runners in scoring position. 4-14. On the ground, into the shift, Forsythe, Coloni, and that'll do it for the Jays in the 8th. Brad Boxberger gets Justin Smoke to ground out to end the inning, and the Rays still carry a 3-2 lead. time, 107. We'll be on the air at 12:30 with our Rays Live pregame show. Chris Archer makes his first start since being an All-Star and pitching an inning and change in the All-Star game.
Well, and you know what? I'll tell you, if the Rays are able to hold on and win this ball game, you're going to be sending your ace to the hill looking for a series win. And you know that Chris Archer anxious to get back out there and lead his team. And he'll get a chance to do that tomorrow afternoon and hopefully get that same bat maybe 24 hours from now.
He'll be opposed by Marco Estrada, who took a perfect game against the Rays into the 8th inning at Tropicana Field last time he faced them. Brett Cecil will be your new pitcher for Toronto here in the 9th inning. A lefty coming out of the pen.
Well, 33 strikeouts in 29 innings, but also a 4.66 earned run average. So he has been had from time to time, and the Rays will be looking to do that here as they try to extend that lead. Some breathing room for who you think will be Jake McGee.
Here's James Loney, 0 for 3 on the day. Swings to the first pitch from Cecil, sends it to left where Ezekiel Carrera makes the play, and there's one away. Want to send out our best wishes to the Rays Senior Director of Communications, Dave Haller, who in about 2.5 hours will be a married man. Ceremonies at 6 o'clock in St. Petersburg. He and Chelsea Barrett getting married. So congratulations to them.
It's fantastic. And here's the thing. His part is small. It's just a couple of words you got to remember.
2 words really, right? In the air, left center field. Long run, Carrera still on his horse. He won't get there. One hops on top of the fence and over the fence. Logan Forsythe, 2 for 4 now with a double with 1 out.
Well, that's one of those balls that hung up there for a long time that you're assuming somebody's going to get to. You get spoiled by having, Kevin Kiermaier out in center field and covering the ground that he does. This looked like just to be a fly ball, medium deep left center field, but no one can get there, and the ball harmlessly bounces over the wall. Yeah, so I mean, big night for Dave. Big night for Dave.
How nice would it be for the Rays to give him a little W going into the marriage?
Yeah, see, he's got it timed perfectly. You know what I mean? Wedding right into reception.
Bunt stays fair. Bare hand. Donaldson.
Wow.
Whoa, great play by the Jays third baseman.
That absolutely was a great play because Donaldson had to bare hand that, throw on the run, and nifty footwork down there too by Justin Smoke as he's going to have to head towards foul territory to make this catch. Change right over. Get out of the way of Brandon Guyer.
I'm not sure how Guyer bunted that pitch. It was up and in. And
self-preservation.
Yeah. So now a runner on third with 2 outs. They give Guyer a sacrifice for that bunt attempt, and here's Kevin Kiermaier, lefty on lefty. 0-1.
And a nice block by Russell Martin. A runner 90 feet away from potential Rays run. That breaking ball in the dirt, smothered. Here's a good look at it. Wow, that ball almost got underneath that glove.
The Rays would love to get a little more insurance with Jake McGee warming up for the bottom half of the 9th inning. Due up for Toronto will be Russell Martin, Kevin Pillar, and Ezekiel Carrera. Although they do have options like Chris Colabello on the bench as well.
I'd be shocked if you did not see him at some point.
Late swing, 1-2. Kiermaier trying to drive in Logan Forsythe, who doubled, was sacrificed to third, now with 2 outs.
Kevin Kiermaier just looking to put a ball in play. That's the thing with him. You've got an opportunity because of the foot speed, so you just want to put the ball in play. It's a chopper in the infield. He's got a chance to beat it out.
There's a called third strike. Cecil strikes out Kiermaier to end the top half of the 9th inning. So we head to the bottom of the 9th. Jake McGee will come on to try and win it for the Rays.
Rich Hollenberg, Orestes Destrada. Before we get to the Rays Live postgame brought to you by Checkers, it's been not so much a clean game for the Rays, but they're beating the Jays at their own game with the long ball.
Yeah, they sure are with the long ball. That's a little bit of the surprise there, as many home runs as the Jays hit. But I will say they have done a great job of corralling the middle of the lineup. 2 for 17 when you look at Donaldson all the way down to Martin, other than that big home run for Bautista. And enough solid defense, and now you're getting to the pen just how you want it to try to close this game out.
Jake McGee on to try to get the final 3 outs. Guys, we'll see you for the postgame show. We'll hear from Kevin Cash and other players in the Rays dugout.
All right, Rich, that'll be after the game. Jake McGee, Brian has a chance to get his 4th save of the year.
Well, you know what you're going to get with Jake McGee, and it's going to be high-octane heat. Occasionally the curveball, we've seen him use that effectively, but for the most part, you go up to the plate, you look for the fastball. Not a whole lot you can do with it most of the time.
Russell Martin looks at one of the knees, 0-1. McGee last year saved 19 games for the Rays. You see his numbers this season. That ERA of 1.37 has gone down each of his last 16 appearances. In the air, right field, Geyer. 1 away.
Yeah, that's a perfect example. Russell Martin knows what he's going to get. With Jake McGee's fastball, he's so fluid with his motion. He's so just easy. You know, the ball comes out of his hand and it's just got some hop on it. I mean, some explosive velocity. And these hitters, they know what to look for, and still they have such trouble getting the head out. And Russell Martin was eaten up by that heat.
You see, he is not allowed to run since late May. The longest streak for a Rays pitcher since Fernando Rodney ended the 2012 season with 19 straight scoreless appearances. Kevin Pillar has doubled and scored a run, also grounded out and flied out. 1-1 the count. He mentioned Chris Colabello would be a potential weapon on the bench for John Gibbons, and there he is on deck for the Blue Jays.
And no surprise there. He's trying to bring up anybody that can take a swing at a fastball and try to pop one out of the yard.
McGee ahead 1-2. What Jake is doing better this year than he's done at any point in his career is attack the strike zone. His strike percentage is higher now than even at his best last year. He's getting more swings and misses. He has been a huge boost to this Rays pen, along with Brad Boxberger and Kevin Jepsen. Away, it's 2-2.
I mean, that's 98 miles an hour, and everything. When you watch that camera that's from center field, you watch the shot of Jake McGee as he delivers the ball to the plate. Everything's just so smooth until the end, and it's the hand out in front that gives it that big explosive finish.
Popped up, playable. Loney drifting back, makes the play. 2 outs here in the ninth. Rays trying to get back to 1 game over 500 and send the Toronto Blue Jays back to 1 game under 500. But McGee has to deal with the dangerous Chris Colabello, and look at his numbers against lefties this year.
Yeah, this isn't your average lefty. He may be predictable, but he is not the typical lefty.
Foul tip, 0-1. The Rays tied the game on a home run by Brandon Geyer and took the lead on a home run by Kurt Casale in the 8th. And now Jake McGee trying to save it. The win, if the game stays 3-2, would go to Kevin Jepsen. Swing and a miss. 0-2.
I mean, the last 2 pitches, 97, 98. That ball is just jumping out of the hand of Jake McGee. And he is 1 more big fastball away from putting an end to this ball game.
Crowd starting to get into it. Colabello down to the count. 0-2, and time is called. 41,583 at the Rogers Center. Jake McGee 1 strike away. missed the corner 1 and 2.
99.
Really?
Yeah, 97, 98, 99.
What's next?
Well,
What will happen next?
Hey, listen, one of the best openings in the history of Rays broadcast.
97, 98, 99. Here we go. Pop foul out of play.
Doing a pyramid.
That is high octane.
It is. And this is the best fastball velocity-wise we've seen from McGee all season long.
Again, Kevin Cash will play matchups, but at least for the first game out of the All-Star break, Jake McGee gets the opportunity in the ninth. Fastball away, says Kurt Casale. High in the air to left field, playable. Joey Butler camps under it. And the Rays win 3-2. Jake McGee comes on for a 1-2-3 ninth inning. And the Rays on home runs by Geyer to tie it and Casale to take the lead have defeated the Blue Jays in the middle game of this 3-game series.
Yeah, how about that? I mean, right after Jose Bautista hits a big home run for the Blue Jays, they take a lead. It becomes a battle of the bullpen. And, you know, the Rays are able to victimize. Geyer with 2 strikes against Luke gets the home run to tie it. And then Casale off Tepera, that hanging breaking ball, and he drove that out of here. And there you go. The bullpen does its job. Big win.
It became a battle of the bullpens, and that was advantage Rays.
Yes, it was. It's a thick bullpen, and when you go to the back end, the last 3 or 4 guys, and they're well rested and ready to go, it's tough to push runs across against them. And this bullpen has absolutely been doing the job. They had a rough patch during that losing streak, but for their last 18, 19, 20 innings, they've been fantastic.
Kevin Cash sharing handshakes with his team. That's a nice win.